and then he deleted them like 25 years ago, dude. Like, imagine being like, well, you should have never had the wrong opinion.
You don't
like
the spirit of justice.
You should have never had the wrong opinion to begin with.
As the CEO of the Young Turks, the biggest online news organization in the world. But also now you may know him as a candidate for California's 25th congressional district. And Cenk Uygur, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Sam. I appreciate it, brother.
Now, listen, I know you're in a car. Obviously, you're rather busy these days trying to run for this office, this seat in the special election. When is the actual election? This is the seat that was vacated by Katie Hill when she was basically attacked by her ex-husband and resigned. When is the election?
You love your
so the primary is March 3rd, so that's a hell of a day. That's Super Tuesday. That's also obviously when the presidential primary in California is. If you get over 50%, you win immediately. If you get in the top two and nobody gets 50%, you go to the general election for this seat is on May 12th.
Okay.
And now it gets complicated because then, of course, you rerun in November for the 2-year seat.
All right, fair enough. So there's a lot of scrambling, and you are well situated. You don't live in the district. You've moved into the district. Is that right? Is that my understanding?
Yeah, I'm a little bit outside the district, and I'm moving in at the end of the school year with the kids.
Okay, so you are well suited to run in a special election because you obviously already have like a built-in base. You have support from small donors, and to that extent, you really represent a big threat to the establishment Democrats who want to put someone in this seat who is not as progressive as you. I mean, that seems to me to be like, that's just like the baseline. Before you get to anything else, that's the reality of what's going on in this election.
100%. But there's 2 layers to it. And you're right. You know, I've gotten 17,000 individual contributions, but we need a hell of a lot more because the millions are coming against us because of what I say about corporate power and the Democratic Party. So Cenk2020.com is the website, Cenk2020.com. It's so important because all I got is you guys. Okay, now the 2 layers are, one is, this is, my opponent is as establishment corporate Democrat as it gets. In California, she's in the state assembly, and you could take direct contributions from corporations, and she has. Her average donation is $2,700 so far this year. Mine is $28.
Wow.
So she's taking money from insurance companies, and you're going to be shocked to find out, Sam, that she's against Medicare for all.
What?
I'm sure those 2 things are not at all connected. I mean, she's just taking insurance company money because they love to do charity, and they just happen to give it to someone who matches with their financial interest. But all of that is a wild coincidence, as it is for every corporate Democrat that takes that money. So there's that normal, like, she's against Medicare for all, Green New Deal, doesn't care about money in politics, in fact, loves money in politics, etc., right? And then there's a second layer to it, which is that I'm calling out the entire Democratic leadership and saying, yeah, if you take corporate contributions, you are corrupt and you are taking bribes. So now it's full-out war because now they're sending in every group that they have ever been connected to say that before the election happens, we should disqualify Cenk because we, the powerful and the elite, don't like him. Well, that's not how it works. So sad day. I'm coming either way.
All right, I want to talk about that because it does feel like somebody just dumped a dump truck of oppo they've been building on you today. That, I mean, largely, frankly, is a rehash of stuff, and it's all stuff that is, is public. So it's sort of, it's, they're doing their best. But I just want to talk a little bit about this dynamic because it seems to me now that when we talk about getting corporate money, I am sure that the vast majority of these people who vote with corporations and against the best interests of average people
Facebook is giving $4,700 to this person. Friends of Mark Levine. Wait, that's not the same Mark Levine. I'm looking at all of her donations right now. It's in front of me. Lyft is giving her $4,700. What else? Renton for Assembly. Rob Bonta for Assembly. Like other Assembly members have donated more than $4,700. Tom Daly for Assembly from Long Beach giving her $4,700. California State of Council of Laborers is giving her $4,650. Furnius Medical Care North America has given her $2,700. The California New Car Dealers Association PAC has given her $2,500. This is in 2019, by the way. So the interesting thing is like Christy Smith now is talking about how she wants independent donors. Isn't $4,000 literally nothing? This is a congressional seat, dude. What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean nothing? She raised like $1.8 million total. This is how you do it. How much money have you given the politicians? What are you talking about? Like, anyway. Her average campaign contributions in the year 2016 was $4,000. She raised $1.8 million from 400 people total. 400. Yeah. That number went down a little bit. I think it went down to like 3K. So, you know, that's actually not much in total now. McCarthy got 10 million this last cycle. Okay, dude, we're talking about CA25 though. Like you can't look at every district and be like, well, this one district got 10 million. I don't know if I have the liberty to link this yet, but AT&T and its affiliates have given her $1,500. The Apartment Association of California, $1,500. California Mortgage Bankers, $1,500. United Healthcare Group, $1,500. We're actually this is readily available information. It's just the compilation of it. Yeah. As Magic Tool Bus said, endorsement donor lists are way more telling. Normal people don't care about this. Yeah, well, good thing I'm not talking to normal people. Good thing I'm talking to people who are much smarter than the average or much more interested than the average citizen currently.
Would do that on their own. And even if they didn't get that corporate money, my sense is they get that money because they're the type of people to vote against those interests. The problem is they
except for the dumbasses who are like, oh, she got $1,500. That's nothing. Okay, dude. $1,500 gets you in the room, okay? It gets you directly in the room. It gets you access to a congressperson, okay? $1,500 wins you many favors by that congressperson, especially if they are already on your side because you're a massive, powerful corporation.
Office, because they wouldn't be able to garner the type of support you need from a broad base of people offering what they're offering. I mean, that's where it seems to me is the dysfunction. That I don't know that these people are changing their behavior as elected representatives.
That's nothing. You get more from Twitch subscribers. Yes, I have 3,915 Twitch subscribers currently, which hopefully will hit 4K tonight before the night ends. But yeah, they all give me $5. I get 2.5 of that from those $5. Are you really comparing that to getting $1,500 directly from a corporation? Are you stupid? If she had 4,000, if she had the number of donors that I have, I wouldn't have this big of an issue with her. You understand that, right? There's a difference between raising $1.8 million from 400 people versus raising however much money this makes from 3,913 people. Stupid.
Is because of the support they
My
get
point
from
exactly.
corporations. But without that support from corporations, they wouldn't be able to get support from the general electorate because they wouldn't be able to, they wouldn't get the money that they need to run. Everybody needs some amount of money to run anyways. And they wouldn't get the volunteers because their agenda just isn't helpful to people.
Yeah. Well, there's two elements to that too. So, number one, as Professor Larry Lessig says, they lean to the green. So although now running, I actually think that they're a little bit more comic book evil than even I realized. I assume that they just go, I mean, I am getting money from them, and I think I agree. I agree. Yeah, right. So that's how I thought it was. Now, having experienced it a little bit personally, no, I think it's actually way more brazen than that. I think they're just like, give me the money and I'll vote your way. Just, what do you need me to vote? Got it. Just give me the money, right? So I've seen it. But there's another layer to it too. Sam, even if you're right, so Sheldon Adelson gave millions of dollars to a bunch of Republicans and said, I need you to say that gambling online is immoral, but gambling at my casinos in person is the most wonderful family values thing you can do. Now, was there 1 or 5 people out of the 330 million people in the country that actually believe that? Maybe, right?
Well, yeah,
And
I mean,
so,
it's nice to spend time with family and not be so isolated, but
right. So,
while you
but
lose
those 5 guys raise their hands and go, yeah, I think gambling online is immoral, but gambling in the casinos are the best thing you could do. They go, oh, okay, we found the 5 guys who agree with us. Give them $30 million. Okay, and that really doesn't make it any better at all, even in that best case scenario.
Right. All right. Well, fair enough. And this is one of the things, obviously, that you're fighting for, and this is why it's such a big threat. And I have to say, like, it is quite clear the size of the threat that you represent to them when you open up your hometown paper and you see that you are attacked for stuff like that. We said you dealt with, it seems to me, years ago. I know that the Cernovich tried to get you on a lot of this stuff. You tell folks what it is exactly that you're being accused of.
Yeah. So there's 2 layers to that too. One is the old blogs that I deleted 15 years ago. Not when I was running for office, not when I got caught. I didn't, right? I deleted them on my own because I didn't agree with them. They find it, Cernovich and the alt-right find it on the Wayback Machine, on things that have been deleted from the internet. They put it out there.
Yeah, for the record, that's a really important part of this conversation too, is that, like, it's not like he was like, yo, check out these dope ass blog posts, dude. Like, I'm super proud of them. Like, he said some dumbass and then he deleted them like 25 years ago, dude. Like, imagine being like, well, you should have never had the wrong opinion.
You don't
like,
the spirit of justice.
You should have never had the wrong opinion to begin with. If you have ever had the wrong opinion at any point in your life, that means you will be executed. Sorry, we have to execute you now. Like, you should have never had a bad thought ever. Sorry. How do they find it? Wayback Machine.
And they did that line of attack. So if you've never seen those blogs and you see that from when I was trying to be politically incorrect Republican, I 100% apologize. And one very sincere form of that apology was deleting all that stuff 15 years ago.
Isn't this the opposite of what they say about Clinton? No, they're very understanding of Clinton. They're very understanding of Clinton to the point where, like, even if she has the wrong opinion now, they're still understanding because they don't care. It's not about what you advocate for. It's just like, are you a part of the in club or not? Hold up, an hour ago, people were showing Warren for being a former Republican. I have never shown Warren for being a former Republican. I literally have mentioned numerous times that it's fine for people to have a change of heart. Okay?
So anyone who watches this show knows that's not me at all, right?
Don't cap me, dumbasses. I showed a funny tweet about how all of the people on Cenk for what he said 20 years ago are fine with Warren being a Republican. I'm fine with the dumbass Cenk has said, and I'm fine with Warren being a Republican. I'm on the other side of the equation.
Right. In fact, they hate me for being too progressive. How disingenuous is it?
No, I don't hate former Republicans. I don't even hate former Nazis, okay? If you have in the past and you have been a horrible person, I still believe that you have a chance to redeem yourself, okay? What? What are you doing? What is this response from my oh, you guys are just memeing. Okay. The only time I care about what someone has said in the past or in the near past or distant past or whatever is if their perspective is still the same and they are still advocating for those same things. Okay?
Pretend that I'm not progressive enough. Preposterous. It's obviously not the real issue. So you deal with that, but the press loves it. I was talking to LA Times yesterday, and that reporter said, "No, I don't want to talk about the issues. I only want to talk about this." Well, okay, well that's at least clear. And so because they have access to all these politicians, and the politicians don't want to talk about Medicare for all. They don't want to talk about Green New Deal because the Democrats aren't going to do it. Newsflash: Democratic leadership hates Medicare for all, hates Green New Deal. They will never, ever do it unless you defeat them. The way to defeat them is exactly this election. Exactly. Because if you send people a message saying, I don't give a damn what character assassinations you guys do. We said Medicare for all. We said get money out of politics. We said Green New Deal, and we didn't stutter. Okay? So if they throw all this stuff at me and it doesn't work and I win anyway, oh my God, that's going to be a cannon straight across the heads of Washington, D.C. So Cenk2020.com. I'm not kidding. This is everything. Now, the second layer of it is they are now trying to find videos from Young Turks, and they are stretching and stretching. So the number one thing they're going to is, I had David Duke on, and I shredded him. Sam, nobody can relate to this more than you, because you invite right-wing monsters to debate you. They usually run. In this case, Duke came on, and I beat back every garbage anti-Semitic thing he said. Now, not only disingenuous political hacks in the Democratic Party, but also corporate media hacks are pretending, and CNN literally wrote that I invited him on the show to share his anti-Semitic views. Well, Jesus Christ, if that's not 100% lie, what is?
I mean, CNN has done the exact same thing with, I'm sure, far less pushback on guests like this.
Richard Spencer.
Anybody who watches that interview, David Duke has never gotten that kind of pushback. You compare anything I've done with David Duke to what CNN has done, you'll see I'm 1,000 times harsher, 1,000 times. And then they turn around and pretend as if I'm on his side. It's gross. It's negligent. It's horrible. And so that's now the character assassination that they're in the middle of. And all the meanwhile, have they mentioned CNN and all of them? Have they ever written one article about how corporate campaign contributions might be bribes? How maybe ExxonMobil doesn't have the country's best interests in mind, that they just like to maximize profit? Isn't it stunning that they've never written a single article about that? It's unbelievable.
We're right now.
I mean,
we
that
just
is
have
not journalism.
Right now,
that's just covering for the elite.
Right now, we have just a still of Michael Smerconish's recent interview with David Duke. There's no doubt in my mind that I haven't watched the Smerconish one, but there's no doubt in my mind that you were far more aggressive with David Duke on this stuff. And I have to say that when you look at this, and of course, they're going to pull stuff. If people want to pull stuff from this show over the course of the 15 years I've been doing this, and I know you've been doing your show, close, I think, to 18 years, they're going to find stuff that, particularly in narrow contexts, are going to sound frivolous or stupid or, and I'm sure they're going to go through your entire over. But if what they're doing is trying to say that you're David Duke friendly, this is, they're scared. And so give me a sense of the 25th district. I mean, what does it look like? I mean, because the irony here is that the first thing I heard was like, Cenk's too progressive for that district. And that's really, that's bad news. He can't win there. They obviously don't believe that if they're trying to make you look like you are some type of reactionary.
Yeah, what scared them is how much money I raised. And so they're not scared of me as much as they're scared of all of you guys listening. So every time you give me money, they get more scared and attack me more. Good. Screw them. Cenk2020.com. And so that's why they're throwing the kitchen sink at me. And this, Sam, what you're touching on is so important, because the BS mythology of corporate Democrats is,
it's not just that. So listen, the money part is true. They definitely don't like that. especially because it sets a really, really dangerous precedent that a guy can come out of nowhere. Okay, a political commentator can come out of the left field, literally and figuratively, and start disrupting purple districts with a bold message. And especially terrible that this guy has already embarrassed the Democratic Party over and over again with the Justice Democrats. And look how much trouble the Justice Democrats have been for establishment Democrats. Yes, I should be mentioning Twitch Prime as much as Cenk mentions Cenk 2020. Please subscribe to me with Twitch Prime for free. You can get a bunch of emoticons and an ad-free viewership experience and support me.
In purple districts, the voters love big corporate power. And so if you appease the Republicans and you appease corporate power, you're more likely to win.
The spirit of justice.
I mean,
love your
how do they say this stuff with a straight face?
Thank you, Hacho. Thank you, Dance Beats, man.
Preposterous. And if it was true, well, we could ask Claire McCaskill and Joe Donnelly if it's true.
Right.
Oh, right. They're retired because they tried that.
You don't run ads anyway?
The devil.
Okay, don't tell that to people when I ask for Twitch Primes, dude. Just because I don't run ads doesn't mean I'm not going to. Maybe I'll start running ads. How about that? Don't fake me, bitch. Don't tell the people who are on the precipice of subscribing with Twitch Prime that I don't run ads. I will run an ad right now, dude. No, I won't do it.
That strategy, and they were miserable failures. So when my message is end the corruption, let's get higher wages. The Antelope Valley is high desert. It's perfect for solar power. It's perfect for wind power. It's higher paying jobs. It reduces traffic if you bring the jobs to that area. The Antelope Valley is completely ignored by the Democratic Party power structure. Why? And I found this out while I was running. I'm like, wait, the Antelope Valley has more Democratic voters. So why don't they come here more often? They almost never come here. It turns out it's because some people in the area are, and especially Latinos in their mind, the Democratic Party's mind, are too poor, so they can't do fundraising there.
You don't love
oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, how monstrous are these guys? So, and they focus on, by the way, the whole district's beautiful. Half of it is rural. It's feels rural. It's high desert, but there's also a lot of good jobs there as well. The southern half is very suburban, Santa Clarita, Porter Ranch, Simi Valley. So are there a lot of cops in Simi Valley? Yes. Am I going to change any of my opinions about Black Lives Matter or anything like that? No. So we're going to find out in this district if people appreciate someone who's honest as opposed to a normal, slimy politician who equivocates on every single issue. We're going to find out if they want Medicare for all and if they want a progressive fighter, or if they want someone lukewarm who's not going to do any of that for them and is just going to take orders from Nancy Pelosi. I don't care what they say, what they do. They're never going to dissuade me. I'm going to fight all the way to the end. And if I beat them, God help them. They won't be able to stop me in the House. God help them.
When Katie Hill won, what happened in the primary? Was it one of these two Democrats race, or is she running against a Republican, or did she defeat an incumbent?
So in this district, there's always, and in this case, there's like 13 people in the race, half of them Democrats, half of them Republicans. And the Republicans are splitting up the vote in a lot of different ways. There's the former incumbent, Steve Knight. There's this guy, Mike Garcia, who's backed by a lot of the Republican Party. He's a Latino who loves Trump and wants to tell everybody how great Trump is, so he's getting a lot of the Republican vote. They're like, oh, a Latino that's telling us how great we are and how wonderful our is. So they love that. And then you got Papadopoulos in the race. So they're splitting up their vote like crazy, and a bunch of other people. On our side, there's two major candidates, me and the establishment candidate. So it is very, very likely, and happens almost every time, that a Republican and a Democrat advance in the jungle primary. So if I'm up against Steve Knight, they could try all this stuff all they like. This guy votes with Trump 99% of the time. This district voted for Hillary Clinton by 7 points.
Wow.
And now has trended.
Hey, Johnny Talabani. Maybe next time wait until maybe next time actually hear what he has to say, because he mentioned it was a purple district, pretty early on. And then he said incumbent Republican. Whose fault is it that you're too stupid to understand that he has said numerous times that this was a red district? Classic. I'm too stupid to understand what you're saying, so it's your fault, not mine.
more Democratic. Ain't no 7-point advantage Hillary Clinton district. I was going to vote for a guy who voted with Trump 99% of the time. It's just not going to happen. I would obliterate him in the general election. The most important thing is to not buy into the BS hype of you must go corporate and you must not fight for your voters if you want to win.
Why would he hide
district.
that?
It's the wrong idea. And the fight's in the 25th. This is where we have to end that mythology.
All right. Well, let's now that I have you on the phone, let's.
Hey, moron. His entire pitch is Democrats think that the only people that can win purple districts that were previously occupied by Republicans, for those of you who are too stupid to know that, or at least if you're uninformed, it's fine. But if you're ignorant, it really frustrates me. Sorry. Okay? Progressives can't. Dude, he literally said progressives can't win. Okay, I'm banning you. Johnny Talabani, that's the last take you have in the chat. You're done. Progressives can't win in purple districts. He literally said that. You moron. That's his entire pitch. That's why he thinks the Democratic Party is terrified of him, because he can prove to them that progressives can win in purple districts. You idiot. You imbecile. You troglodyte.
Spirit of justice. You love your father, the devil.
Let's just talk a little bit about what's happened this week in national politics. I know you still follow those things. Today, this morning, articles of impeachment passed through the judiciary. 2 counts: one obstruction of Congress, the other abuse of power. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi has been. They made a deal on the USMCA. They have passed other legislation that won't go anywhere. But the Progressive Caucus got a big win on this drug prescription bill. There's so much news out there this week. What is? I mean, obviously you're spending your time running for office, but what has struck you this week in terms of when we look down the future, when we look to 2020, what's going to be most important from this week?
So, first of all, I'm obviously glad that they're going down the impeachment path. We've been pushing them in that direction all along. I wish they'd done more articles of impeachment. I don't know why they never talk about his other crimes, but I'm past it for now. Let's go. Let's win on these. Okay, so go to the Senate, fight as hard as you possibly can to convict him. Put political pressure on the Republicans and have them do polling in their home states for the senators that are up for re-election. Do enough damage to them that they'll actually consider convicting him. It is definitely possible if they fight hard enough. So overall,
true.
As usual, bunch of concerns about their more mild-mannered strategy, but I'll take it. Let's go forward, okay? So on the legislation stuff, that's a debacle. Total capitulation on USMCA. Well, no, that's not fair. Less of a capitulation on USMCA, although terrible timing and not the right path to go. It only pales in comparison to the total capitulation on the defense bill,
right?
And then the drug price bill is unbelievable. It's unreal. So look, the reason I get so passionate on the show about this stuff is the same reason I'm running. Because let's talk about the drug bill for 1 second. The Democrats all win their elections based on saying we're going to negotiate drug prices for you. They get in, and progressives say, okay, great, we're going to negotiate all the drug prices, right? And they go, no. What? That's what we all promised. No, we're only going to negotiate 25 of them. 25? What the hell are you talking about? They're like, okay, fine, you progressives are complaining too much. We'll make it 35 over the course of the next 10 years. This is a joke. It's a total joke. But it's not just that. It's a Trojan horse. What it does is it blocks you from negotiating all the thousands of other drug prices for 10 years. And it's done on behalf of the drug industry, not to fight the drug industry. And so the progressives are now finally beginning to push back on that, and they might not be able to pass that bill. If progressives back down on that's it. It's total over. It's surrender, and we'll never pass any progressive priorities. If they defeat that bill, well, then we're on the board, and we're now having a conversation about which way is the Democratic Party going to go. And if I was in Congress right now, I'd start putting up placards of all of the drug company money that fellow Democrats have taken.
Right.
So can you see why they're going to spend millions against me? But that's the reality. That's why they're doing that. And it's gross. It's sick. And as strong as the progressives are right now in Congress, even they're not fully calling it out. I will call them out by name, by donation, because that's the corruption. That's literally, especially in the case of drug prices, literally.
Hey, very wide hardo. Always nice to see Greek God X fans in the chat. I'll use this as an opportunity to educate you very quickly. Of course, Trump won't be convicted because he didn't commit a crime. Impeachment convictions don't have to be about crimes. Okay? Like, he didn't. This is a totally political process. Okay? You can be impeached for what can you be impeached for? You can be impeached for pretty much anything. God, what is your chat thing getting as stupid as the people? It's just about being unfit for office. He's been trying to bait you all stream. Well, this is good stuff. This is good stuff regardless, because it's probably informational for a lot of other people who also don't think that Bill Clinton wasn't impeached for blowjobs. It was because he perjured himself by lying.
This country.
You know,
which would have been Trump too if he were to actually sit in any of the hearings.
I'm struck by the threat that
that was a crime.
That folks like you represent, frankly, and by you I mean specifically, you know, people who come in with a funding source that is not their own billions of dollars that they, you know, raised in business, because we know what values they're going to bring to the table at that point. But, you know, AOC is the number one fundraiser last quarter in the House, and that scares the hell out of Nancy Pelosi and Steny Hoyer and the entire crew. They are very nervous about that because that has been their one form of control. If you don't, if you don't allow us to whip you on this bill or whatever it is, you're not going to get the committee seats that you need to raise money. And when that essential leash or, you know, cattle prod is gone, they get very, very nervous. I mean, I imagine they're as nervous about your ability to raise this money as anything else, because it just says we cannot control this guy.
Yep.
Wait, Sam, you hit the nail on the head, and they can't control me more than even the strongest progressives in Congress now, because if I win, I will probably raise a ton of money because of the extra attention, and when I do, I'm going to give it to other progressives who are challenging incumbents. No ands, no ifs, no buts. I don't give a damn about corrupt colleagues who say, no, I have to protect my purple seat district by taking more corporate bribes. Well, in that scenario, I just wanted a purple district. So it turns out you don't have to do that. You're choosing to do that. And if you're voting against Medicare for all and all of our priorities, well, you're not my colleague, you're not my ally, you're not my teammate, and you're not going to gaslight me into believing that. So I will raise money. I will give it to upstart progressive candidates. I will back all of them and not give a damn about incumbents. So again, God help him if I get in there. Cenk2020.com. Sam, we have got to change the national conversation. If we don't talk about the bribes, then we're not at all covering politics. Let's just go cover sports or entertainment or something. Because if you're not talking about the bribes, you're not talking about the driving force for every vote in Congress. And if I win, they're not going to be able to avoid that national conversation.
What do you do to fight back? You know, it's one thing that you have this ability to raise funds from across the country. You have fans across the country, outside the country. Obviously, you can't take foreign money. But what do you do to deal, like in that district? How do you fight back against the LA Times writing a piece like that? I mean, what's at your disposal to push back on that type of sort of like mass media attack?
So, well, that's what we're in the middle of deciding here, Sam. And part of it is good folks telling you, with wonderful folks with good, honest opinions, is saying, basically, just continue to apologize.
You don't love the spirit
right?
of justice. You
Because
love your
that's
father, the devil.
the more standard way to go, right? But I'm not going to apologize for the David Duke interview. I'm just not. They're flat out lying about it. Literally, CNN owes me an apology I'm not coming as the accused. I'm coming as the accuser. And then that's the second strategy, which I can't help myself anyway, because I can't help but tell you what I actually think. And CNN obviously did a hit job. There's no question about it. Anyone who reads the CNN or the LA Times article and that knows me would think this is a totally different guy. I don't know who this guy is, right? But that's definitely not Cenk. I watch him 3 hours a day. I watch him every day. I've watched 1,000 hours of Cenk. That's not remotely Cenk, right? So, and most progressives, they steamroll because they don't have a media outlet. They don't have allies like you guys. They don't have a way of fighting back. And they're told so often, hide, hide, hide. I'm not going to hide. I'm going to counterpunch. I'm going to go on every show like yours, Sam. I'm going to shout it from the rooftops. It's the goddamn bribery, okay? So now, in terms of what else you do in the district, all my...
Felonious Trump says, nice platform to absolve yourself. Where are the hard questions, Sam? I agree. He should have asked him why he loves David Duke. Like, what do you mean? Hey, Sam, I know we've worked for... Hey, Cenk, I know you and I have worked for, what, almost 20 years in and out in the same circles, and I know that your position does not reflect what CNN reported, but can I just ask you a dumb question anyway?
My candidates, my opponents, are hiding from the press. They never do press interviews. No one has ever asked Christy Smith a policy question. Isn't that amazing? In this entire campaign so far, not one policy question to my opponent. Not one. It's stunning. It's amazing. And she's hiding from all the press. Me, I'm going head in, okay? I'm going to make my case to the actual voters. I'm all over the local media as well as fighting back on the national media. But even more importantly, that's why when I say Cenk2020.com, if you can donate, it makes all the difference. But also, if you can volunteer from anywhere. You can do phone banking. And if you're near the district, or especially if you're in the district, come volunteer. And I've got hundreds of volunteers already that are in the district. And 90% of them have never been involved in politics before, and they're coming out for me because it's a real change, big change. So we're gonna go knock on doors. We're gonna go call people. My opponents aren't gonna have volunteer armies. They have corporate armies, right? So we've got people. I'm gonna hit them with all the real people that live in that district and the real progressives who fight for this all throughout the country. And tell people the real message. And I'll say it's the corporate contributions that are poisoning every issue in the district. And they'll say, no, corporate contributions are wonderful, are meant to help you. Let's see who wins.
Well, it's Cenk2020.com. I'm not sure if you're aware of that website, Cenk. And it will send an incredible message across the country. I mean, they will feel it. And it's at a time too where I think there is an ascendant attempt by members of Congress to embolden and strengthen progressives, and I think that you would undoubtedly do that there. The attacks, frankly, I got to be honest with you. I woke up this morning and I saw that piece, and I was like, oh my God, they are really, really afraid of you. But, from across the country, it's hard to sort of tell. But when you see something like that, that is a huge indication that they are very concerned about your ability to do this. And frankly, I got to tell you, they did it too early. They made a mistake, I think.
There's more. Sam doesn't realize that there's more. And also, Sam doesn't realize that it was happening because Bernie endorsed them. And this was happening to attack. This was only being dropped at this point so that they can. Do you have anything to say about the strike in your Discord? There's a strike in my Discord? Question mark. There you go. That's my take on it.
I think that's a sign of panic, that they feel they got to roll this out now. This is usually something that they would drop, 2 weeks out from the election. But now you have the opportunity to you've gained more name recognition. Now you have the ability to talk to people in that district and tell them what's what. There are literally millions of basically character witnesses of you across the country. And not most people have that. So, good luck, and keep us updated. And thanks for coming on today.
All right, thank you, Sam. I really appreciate it. Guys, let's all unite. The fight's on the 25th. So you got to go to Cenk2020.com. Even if you make one call or give $1, it still makes a huge difference. I'll take it one at a time if that's what it takes. We've got to win this race. If I lose this race because of all the smears and all the attacks and all the Democratic operatives, then they'll get to go, ha ha, you see that? You should never fight for real change. We knew it. The establishment candidate that took the corporate money won, and that's what you have to do. Everybody take corporate money. Don't do like Cenk did. So whether we like it or not, this is everything.
Indeed. Cenk Uygur, thanks again for your time. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Sam.
Bye-bye. Cenk Uygur, folks. Really, I mean, really is stunning. When you look at that Times article, and when you look at the David Duke thing, the way that they cut it up just when Cenk is ending the interview, and David Duke goes, "You're brave," and Cenk's like, "Great," and I mean, it is they're very nervous.
The system. I can
The
now
LA
remove
Times
the
give it,
tinfoil
and
hat.
the LA Times
Just
take it
turned
away.
on Twitch
I guess
talk
it.
on Bernie turning on
But
Cenk.
He didn't turn on Cenk. There is nothing that there's no way to play it safer than Bernie has played it. Cenk refused the endorsement, so then Bernie was like, "We're taking the endorsement back." There's nothing else to do at that point. Libs are sometimes slimier than conservatives. In a lot of ways, libs are slimier than conservatives because they enable conservatives. Well, sometimes they're worse than conservatives because they're conservatives, but act like they're not. He refused Bernie's endorsement because he didn't want Bernie to get attacked. That's why he refused the Bernie endorsement. Cenk refused, but Bernie's team would have asked him to, so Bernie didn't look like he was abandoning the solidarity. I like that this guy knows more than I do about what happened behind closed doors. Someone in Discord mailed Chomsky about it. Yeah, I know. I know about all of it. I know about the Discord strike. I'm aware. I've been aware. I think the demands are some of the demands are reasonable. Some of the demands are not. I don't know. I'll look at it. I'm not going to make content out of it. I don't really give a shit. The fact that you guys would literally reach out to Noam Chomsky when he's on his deathbed is insane to me. I thought that was a meme when I heard about it. It's quite shocking because imagine if he read that email and then that was the last thing he read and then that would be the worst thing I've ever, that would be so terrible. Stop sending a 97-year-old man, okay? He knowing we organized. Listen, I think a lot of people mistake their entertainment and their community, especially if they're spending a lot of time in that community, they mistake it for real life. The regulators are not police officers, okay? They have no power over your lives. The Discord there's no power over the Discord has no power over anyone's life either. I just hate that leftists get dramatic about all sorts of shit, including this, even though a lot of the requests are very reasonable, but it's also kind of funny. I'm gonna keep it real, very funny actually, and really cyberbullying isn't real. Just look away, forehead looking ass. No, cyberbullying has real outcomes. This is a little different than cyberbullying. Did you see Noam Chomsky's email about it? No, but I cannot wait to read it. What are the demands? If I remember correctly, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the final iteration, but if I remember correctly, I mean, it's just LARPing. People are LARPing. First of all, number one, any sort of labor dispute. I'm just gonna put this out there really quickly.
You don't love
for all of the
you love your father
for all of the
devil.
Discord organizers.
Happy birthday.
Any sort of labor dispute, you need to actually have some sort of power, right? The Discord is more for you guys than it is for me. It's a place for everyone to get together and be able to have a sense of community. Okay? Do I get some kind of benefit from having a Discord? Certainly. But you need to understand that I literally didn't even know that you guys were striking. And that is because there is no power. The Discord has no power over me. I will nuke it. Now, having said that, I still want to make sure that you are having an awesome Discord experience. Okay? Because I care about the community. which is why, like I said, it's understandable to look at your demands, despite the fact that it is a silly way of going about it. But I'm not going to make content. I'm not going to make content out of it and make fun of you, because everyone would have a field day with that. Literally, it's like the DSA snaps. For the record, it's literally the equivalent of like DSA snaps getting clowned on by everyone around the world who doesn't understand what it looks like. Okay, you just made fun of us. Yes, I did, but politely, because I know what the situation is and others don't. Anyway, what is this?